That turns around. It's time.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All
You
right.
say
Oklahoma. I mean, these were some of the best. I mean, this weekend had some of the best games I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah, it
for
was a
one
great
weekend.
weekend of football. I
Long
mean, yesterday was one of the greatest sports days we have had in a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was insane to have two of those games going at the same time. Arkansas and Ole Miss was going
And they
concurrently.
said our game was like third best of the whole day, third or
I
fourth.
mean,
We had like a fantastic game, So
yeah, I mean, it was an incredible game back and forth. I mean, not a lot of defense.
no
Just
defense.
back and forth. Arkansas's offense really showed out. They played very well.
We have a good offense, man. I don't want to ever hear that again.
You have a good offense. Ole
Yeah,
Miss
people
was
say they have bad. I don't want to ever hear that again.
y'all
That's
are
gonna
keeping
make
up
me
with Ole
mad.
Miss. I mean, Ole Miss is supposed to. Matt Corral is one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, if not the best. I think he might be the best, honestly.
I
Um,
think so.
just so back and forth. When he went for two, I should have picked a better play call at the very end.
I mean, yeah, even if we would have got it, we had that flag.
Yeah, I
I kind of
feel
wish
like
they would have gotten it, and then even if we got the flag, he would have forced to kick a field goal at that point.
I feel like they should have had a better play call because
Yeah.
when you do that kind of play, like a bootleg out, and you really have one guy you can hit, and if he's covered, the only option is to try and run it in, but it's not a good angle. It wasn't the best play call. It worked for Clemson in that championship a few years back, but this one is not. It just didn't turn out well. I mean, you got to be very positive on the future of Arkansas. I mean, they lost this game at one point. Very talented, good Ole Miss team. You were right there. You could have won it. I mean, it was just a game of inches, really. So I think positives are taken out of it. I think you'll be better next week. And
Yeah, I think we'll beat Auburn. Um, it's sad. I was sad. Let me tell you, I've never felt my heart beat like it did that day. I never have felt like that before, ever. I don't know if you've ever had your heartbeat get high like that before.
oh yeah,
I mean, I could hear it in my chest going doom, 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 doom. I thought about to have a heart attack. I honestly did. I was like, this is insanity. They're gonna kill me.
doing yesterday with my team.
That's true. Yeah. So funny story, and I don't know if I told you this yet, or maybe I told you. I said I was gonna tell it on here. I texted my dad after the game and I was upset. He texted me, "Great day, what happened?" I texted him. I said, we lost or whatever, I was mad. And he texted me back, the most inspiring piece of anything I've ever heard. He said, at least it went 52-0. And I pondered that. I mean, it don't make it any easier. It don't make it a hurt go away anymore. But the fact that we are where we are, when everybody else thought we would be where we would be, the fact that we're 4-2 and have a chance to win the next 3 games. We have Auburn at home, Arkansas State Pine Bluff at home, which is going to be a win, and then Mississippi State at home. I think all 3 of those are winnable games. The fact that we even have a chance of sniffing 7-2. If you would have told me that the first week of August when we started doing these football shows, I would have told you were an idiot and that you deserve to get punched in the nuts. I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid, but I wasn't drinking it that much. We were a 2-point, Ryan, to put it in perspective, we are 1 2-point conversion away to being top of the SEC West right now. 1. If we would have made that, we would be number 1 in the SEC West. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. That's how it goes sometimes. We'll just have to rebound. We're number 17 in the country. A rebound against Auburn. And we'll be good to go. I mean, it was a heartbreaker of the game. It really was. It hurts. But we won. It is what it is. I mean, we lost. It is what it is. Have to move forward. There's a bunch to be said. Matt Corral, wow. Our defense, what? Barry Odom, thank God. I mean, he has some games where he's a magician, and some games I wonder what the heck he's doing. They were non-existent. Ole Miss didn't have any resistance yesterday. Arkansas was supposed to have this great defense, but yesterday there was none. There was none of that. That was gone. I don't know what happened to it. It was gone. Poof. I mean, Ole Miss would score points on players who were wide open. Wide open. Wide. I mean, Ryan could make that play. I could make that play. I don't know if I could catch it. Ryan could probably make that play. I couldn't because I couldn't catch the ball. I mean, these guys were wide open. I mean, and there was no defense. Ole Miss's defense is bad. We knew that coming in. The whole thing, Arkansas had a better defense than Ole Miss. I mean, Matt Corral is great. That's true. But when you kick him, when you can't him, the guys are wide open. You can't do what you're doing. You know what I mean? The guys are wide open. You know? I don't know. It is what it is. I wasn't impressed with the defense. The defense was bad. I think Sam Pittman, if you asked him that tomorrow, he'll sit there in his press conference and say they were bad. They didn't do a good job. It's disappointing, yada, yada, yada. But that's how it goes sometimes, you know? Their defense is bad. Our defense wasn't supposed to be bad, but it was bad. Their defense is actually bad. Statistically, fun fact for you, Kj Jefferson had a better day than Matt Corral. They won't say it. The mainstream media won't talk about it, but it's true. Overall, sad, but it could be worse.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's not the best way of saying it. I think if that game was in Fayetteville, Arkansas, we would have won. But it wasn't. It was an Ole Miss. First of all, I'm shocked that you hear what the guy said on the telecast. He said, I was shocked that there was 1 second left on the clock. He said, usually at home field stadiums, they let that little second run off there, but they stopped it.
Yeah.
So.
And another thing you have to look at on a positive note is Arkansas's rebuilding. This is technically still a rebuild.
Yeah, it's true.
In terms of rebuilds, y'all are way ahead over most teams are. If you look at Clemson's rebuild, like way back when, you know, they
took like 3-4 years.
Like 70 points to West Virginia. And then you look at, you know, Nebraska. They can't. I mean,
they can't rebuild.
Like Nebraska is right now after 4 years is where Arkansas was last year, the first year of the rebuild. That's crazy. Positives. I mean, y'all are heading in the right direction. USC's been trying to rebuild for 10 freaking years. And they can't figure anything out.
I mean, now we were bad but we were just bad. You know what I mean? We were just bad football team.
Exactly. And now
things have changed.
Things are changing.
I mean, we look at it today, you know, it might not be what it is. If we do what we need to do, we can win the rest of our SEC games, other than maybe Alabama. But even now, I have faith. You know, maybe the Ole Miss game was a fluke. Maybe Lane Kiffin and them were I think there was too much emotion going to that game. Too many expectations. I think if it was a different, I think they were dealt they didn't do themselves any favor, but they were kind of dealt a hard hand there. You know, the whole national media. I think looking back on it, if you put old Alabama on Ole Miss's field tomorrow, I think Ole Miss wins that football game. I really do.
It's plausible.
It'd be high scoring at least, just like it was yesterday.
We'll get into the Bama.
I mean, like I said, Arkansas has a chance. 9-3, I think, would be achievable. 8-4 wouldn't be terrible. 10-2, unlikely. So I'd play Alabama. But you never know.
You also get, I mean, if you can get a 10-win season with your bowl game, that's huge. I mean,
10-3 would be massive.
That's huge. I
mean that bring in the recruits like water.
That's how Clemson started. I mean, Clemson got 10-win season in 2011, got their butts kicked in the bowl game, but they won the ACC. They had some big wins. They got recruits rolling.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, there's Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Kj Jefferson, good for you, man. You're a Kj Jefferson might win the Heisman Trophy next year. He's very good if he stays healthy. Yeah. He has a chance to play for it. All right, moving on. That's Arkansas Ole Miss.